Joining me for more on the implications of this 25% tariff and penalty on Indian exports to the US, Siddharth Zarabi's group editor, Business Today, joins us in a moment. Shankar Iyer is one of India's finest political economy analysts and author. Joins me on this show. S.C. Garg is former Finance and Economic Affairs Secretary, Government of India, again a published author, joins me on this show. Shankar Iyer, let me begin by asking you your appreciation of these tariffs that have just been announced by President Trump, and White House saying that he's frustrated. He's frustrated by the slow pace of negotiations. Does that openly indicate that these are pressure tactics that America is mounting on India?
Well, very clearly, Gaurav, these are coercive tactics, pressure tactics. Mr. Trump is not known to be subtle about anything. You have a declaration that India and US trade teams are going to meet later in August, and then you have the announcement that there are tariffs. The hypocrisies of US foreign policy are not a mystery or a secret. So, Trump wants things done. He wants a reset in headlines. He wants to be seen to be winning. But the same frustration he doesn't seem to have with China, where
Yes.
the discussions have been going on longer. And that is because China has got them by the dependencies that they have created. All
Yes.
powerful people and countries have dependencies, are dependent. And it is up to India to find out what dependencies we can leverage. And we have to create those dependencies.
So
This 35% tariff regime is simply unsustainable for India.
it's unsustainable for India because if you're looking at China plus one when it comes to production, will we remain a viable market? Edward Luce, US national editor and columnist Financial Times, joins me. Siddharth Zarabi with me on this broadcast. Siddharth, your appreciation of what the US is doing. Are they, one, pressure, negotiate a trade deal at America's interest, not a win-win, but only win for America, point one. Point two, are they truly thinking that India will stop buying Russian oil or Russian weapons? Copybook Trump negotiation tactics? Put the adversary under pressure or the other side under pressure?
Gaurav, before I answer that, I just want to take you through a very measured statement that's just come out minutes ago from the Government of India. This is a statement posted by the Press Information Bureau, which says that the Government of India has taken note of the President's statement on bilateral trade and is studying its implications. What's important to note here is that the government says we remain committed to the objective of concluding a fair, balanced, and mutually beneficial bilateral trade agreement that's been negotiated for the past few months. It goes on to say that the government attaches the utmost importance to protecting, and this is the most crucial part, Gaurav, promoting the welfare of our farmers, entrepreneurs, and medium and small enterprises. The government will take all steps necessary to secure national interest, as has been the case with other trade agreements, including the one with the UK. Gaurav, very clearly, this first immediate response makes it clear there is no backing down. Of course, India has wanted a trade deal and was amongst the most serious participants in a detailed negotiation and engagement with the United States. I think, despite the provocation of bringing in Russian oil purchases at this stage, and remember Senator Lindsey Graham's 100% tariff
Yes.
threat and absolutely shocking use of language, the
The
government of India
language.
not responding to that, not getting provoked by that. And very clearly, the penalty amount over and about 25% is something that could dampen negotiations, but we remain hopeful at this stage if you go by this statement.
Sure, but does that language actually make India seem either weak or subservient? And being polite often, especially in the West, or is it seen as weakness, which truly actually means real strength? But Edward Luce, you've just put out a message, sir, on social media platform X saying Trump's 25% India tariff is obnoxious and yet another gift to China. He's punishing poorer countries more than the richer ones and alienating the global south. Stupidity, as you write, does not cover the damage Trump is doing. Sir, explain why you believe Donald Trump's actions, in your words, are stupid and are they counterproductive?
Well, Donald Trump, pays no attention in terms of trade war to whether you're a friend or a foe. And in fact, he's actually a lot kinder to foes. He's made some serious concessions to China in the last few days because China has I guess, a stranglehold on critical minerals and rare earths, and he wants to get those coming back to the United States. So the alienation that I think these kinds of escalatory and quite extreme threats create in capitals such as New Delhi is, from a geostrategic point of view, stupid. But from an economic point of view, I mean, I would agree with your panelists. He's escalating in order to get submission, and he has had a lot of submissions recently. The European Union really bended the knee to him with their deal with Trump earlier this week. You've seen a pretty soft deal that Japan agreed to, not favorable to Japan. But the worst ones are with developing countries, with Vietnam and with Indonesia. Those are the ones that have been punished the most. It's the rich countries that are getting off the lightest. So, I think if there's a strategy to compete with China globally and win the hearts and minds of the global south, of which India is the most important piece, then sorry to be blunt, but the word I would use is stupid.
Okay. Mr. Garg, in your appreciation, you've seen how he's reacting to India. You've seen the way he's reacting to other developing countries. You've seen how he's reacted to a country who's supposed to be very close to him, Japan, and how he's reacting to a country like China that pushes back. What's your appreciation? How should India react to ensure Trump does not think that he'll get away with his bullying tactics?
So, in my judgment, for Trump, whether you are a friend or a foe doesn't matter. What matters is whether he is getting the deal which he wants. And therefore, if India is not offering a deal which he wants, he will put the tariffs. That's understandable. I don't think we should be surprised. It's going on for last 4 months. It's not new. On 4th April, he said 26%. What has come now is 25%. So it's nothing new. I don't know why Indian establishment need to study the order which has come today. In fact, it has come with something more than that 26%, which was threatened on 4th of April. Now you have penal tariffs on, and that's not specified as yet. You have been sort of told not to buy oil from Russia. And that may perhaps decide what kind of penal tariffs might again be imposed. I think it makes a very simple sense that doing business with United States on the terms which America is offering is not possible any longer.
Okay.
Therefore, rather than trying to get into negotiations, because what kind of negotiation? You may say that reduce 25% to 15%. He might even agree to that. But would you be able to provide sort of what he wants on agriculture tariffs? Would you be able to provide on whether you would be able to buy the aircrafts, the energy and other things from them? It's not possible. Would you be able to stop your oil purchases from America, from Russia?
From
You will
Russia.
not be able. So
Or
this
weapons, yes.
deal with America is an impossible deal. I
Has he
think
set it up to
Indian
be
policy.
impossible, or he's prima facie it looks impossible, Shankar Iyer? He's thinking of, show them the impossible, give a little, and then India will accept whatever he gives, except that either on oil or on weapons from Russia or on agriculture or on dairy, there is no way that any establishment in India, any government in India, let alone a government like Narendra Modi's government, can they expect to give anything to America on any of these fronts, sir?
And Gaurav, as I said earlier, these are coercive tactics. This is plain, simple bullying by a $30 trillion economy trying to get a $4 trillion economy punished. Now, there are nobody has accused the United States of being, long on any strategic vision. I mean, there's this country which is wanting India to be kind of a
A vassal
parallel
state,
track.
transactional.
Well, no, they want India to be like the counterbalance to China. We have 1.4 billion people, so they want us to be part of Quad and stuff like that. And then you go and hammer the same country. Donald Trump may have a legitimate reason to want India to buy stuff from America. But here are the things that I want to place on record. Here is a country which calls itself the leader of the free world, but wants to dictate terms on what a country of the size and scale of India, how, what, where they will buy their goods from. The
Yes.
second part is the hypocrisy is completely unbelievable. I mean, till 2016, US had imposed a ban on LNG exports to other countries. Till 2023, Europe was buying $700 billion worth of oil and gas from Russia.
Russia.
Even today, American corporations are situated in Russia. So, what is it that he's trying to tell us? I mean, if US wants India to buy arms and then tell us who the rifle will point out or where the jets can be used, these are all things that have been discussed earlier. There is nothing new
Yes.
in this platform. And we have discussed this for 4 months. Where India has sort of stumbled is that they mistook personality for policy. And they
Yes.
mistook the idea of, I mean, his definition of friendship with our definition of friendship. His definition of friendship is me, me, me. And India is being sort of dragged into a corner now. Now we have to find ways to do it. While I'm at
Yes.
it, we are here. A simple formula to understand the impact of tariff is what do we give to the PLI producers? That is a
Yes.
relief. If we measure the tariffs, how many times that PLI will have to be increased? I mean, we are in
Absolutely.
simply no place to deal with this kind of obnoxious trade negotiations.
Okay, Edward, just give me a moment. Siddharth Sarabi wants to come in, and I'm just coming to you in a moment. Siddharth, both India and the United States have completed 5 rounds of negotiations, the sixth scheduled for around 25th of August. One of the key sticking points we were told is India doesn't want to permit genetically modified crops and American dairy products, given the political sensitivities, the economic sensitivities in India's agriculture and dairy sector. So, is there forward movement possible here, or that's India's red line, not negotiable?
Gaurav, as of last week, very credible and well-connected sources in the United States had told me, and we had reported that across our platforms, that the file of the proposal was on President Trump's desk. But look at uh, what has happened today. And I am going to say this, just adding to what Edward said earlier, that there is no logic, there is no rationale, and there is certainly no mathematics behind what has happened today. Pre April 2, the tariffs on US imports from India were 2.7%. This is the trade weighted average in percentage terms. It went up to 11.6%. And post the 1st of August, it goes up to 25%. We don't know whether he'll go with the Lindsey Graham 100%
Yes.
or he will use the BRICS 10% slab that he himself has announced. That has added uncertainty to Indian exporters. We've been speaking to some of them over the past couple of hours, and they say that it's tough to give a firm response. But one very quick point: what was therefore the consequence of the current tariffs? Currently, US tariffs on goods imported from India are higher than what we impose. And I will just leave one final thought. It's not as if India does not have options. There's a lot of chatter about India not, responding forcefully and all of that. I think that is complete humbug. Please remember that this is a goods related conversation. What about
Yes.
services? $25 billion or thereabouts that US tech majors take away every year from India. The
Yes.
billions of dollars, again in the same range, that Indian students invest to study in the United States, that far outweighs the trade deficit that
Okay.
President Trump going on
So,
and on and on
Edward
about.
Luce, the last 30 seconds I have on this part of the show, my apologies. US seems to be putting pressure on India even to stop buying Russian oil, reduce dependence on Russian weapons and systems, both very important for India. Is there a win-win possible, or is this now a lose-lose because of Trump's tactics?
Look, all trade deals, regardless of who they're with and at what level they're applied, are lose-lose. Because this reduces openness to trade and therefore reduces efficiency. I think that probably Trump is trying to sort of bully India into making more concessions. Concessions I doubt that it can make in terms of agriculture. It's just too politically suicidal. But, you know, if he sticks to this number and a deal doesn't get arrived at the 25% number, if he sticks to that, then you know, people who are producing iPhones in Chennai and elsewhere in India's south are going to have to start looking again at the economics of that. So it could be really, really bad for India if he means this, and if this isn't bluff, which it could well be. We're talking about Trump after all.
Oh, absolutely. So let's wait and watch, and let's keep our powder dry. Sorry, I've run out of time on this part of the show, but this is a debate we'll have perhaps several times over the next days and weeks as we look at Trump tariffs and coercion